With almost 4 million visitors a year, Yosemite is the 6th most visited national park in the U.S., and it is easy to see why. With towering granite peaks and sheer cliffs, impressive waterfalls, wildlife,
oh my god, there's a bear,
giant sequoias, scenic drives, and stunning lakes, the park is considered by many to be the most beautiful in the country.
It's just like a dream here.
Magical! It's magical! We first visited Yosemite back in 2017, and it was love at first sight. We will never forget the feeling of seeing the lush Yosemite Valley or awe-inspiring Half Dome for the very first time. And we are so excited to spend the next 4 days revisiting some of our favorite spots, plus exploring a few new ones.
To kick off our time here in Yosemite, we're heading to Tunnel View for sunrise. This is one of the best views you can drive to in the park, and it's the first view we ever got of the park many years ago, so it's only fitting that we start our time here in the same spot as last time.
Sometimes when we revisit places, they're not as exciting the second time, but this is just as exciting. It is impossible to not smile or feel joy when looking at this view. Located in California's Sierra Nevada mountains, Yosemite has been enjoyed by many groups of people for thousands of years, starting with Native Americans like the Awanichi before the area was discovered by Europeans and gold miners. It also began to gain the interest of people wanting to preserve it, like Galen Clark and John Muir, leading to it becoming a national park in 1890. And after Muir showed the park to Teddy Roosevelt in 1903, it prompted even further federal protection of Yosemite, as well as inspired Roosevelt to create 5 additional national parks, 18 national monuments, and 150 national forests. Today, Yosemite National Park encompasses 1,200 square miles, but without a doubt, the most iconic area of the park is Yosemite Valley, a valley carved by glaciers over many years, and is where we're heading first.
There are many striking features in Yosemite National Park, but one of the most impressive is Yosemite Falls. This towering waterfall is one of the tallest in all of North America at 2,425 feet and can be seen from many parts of the valley. And to see part of it up close, we're gonna hike the short, lower Yosemite Falls trail, and since it's paved, Kona gets to come with us.
Now that we've seen the falls from below, we're going to hike up the mega steep Upper Yosemite Falls Trail, which will take us all the way to the top. However, in order to film this video today, we had to get a commercial filming permit from the park. And one of the many rules is that we cannot film in wilderness areas, which unfortunately a handful of the things that we want to do in the park are in, including this hike. So we won't be able to bring you along on the hike, but we'll share our thoughts when we're done.
That was a doozy of a hike. I don't think I've sweat that much in a really long time.
I was absolutely drenched basically from 5 minutes in the entire time. So gross.
It was a very challenging hike. If you look at the All Trails map and you zoom in, you just see all these tiny switchbacks just basically the entire way.
and it's kind of split up into a couple different sections. You have this first incline, and once you get to the end of that, you get to oh my gosh point, which we did say oh my gosh when we saw it, and you have an amazing view of the waterfall kind of head on, but higher up in the lower Yosemite Falls. And then from there, you have another big climb, and once you get to the top of that, that's when you get to the top of Upper Yosemite Falls. And from up there, you actually don't see the waterfall because you're at the top of it, so you can see the river, and you can kind of see it going over, but the view from up there is more about just the views of the valley. And then, if you really want to torture yourselves, like apparently we like to, you can continue on, which was not the original plan, but if you go about a mile each way extra, you can get to Yosemite Point. And we had heard it was worth it, so we went, and it was worth it. You have incredible views of Half Dome and just the mountains off in the distance, so I'm really glad we did it, but it made it a even more tiring experience than we thought it would be.
It was one of those type 2 funs where it's like, not that fun in the moment, but once you get up there, oh, it feels so good.
Just very, very, very rewarding.
Yeah, but our plan for the rest of the day is to explore a bit more of the valley, but instead of on foot, we're gonna ride our bikes.
Which sounded like a better idea before we did this hike, like, oh, that'd be so fun. So I think it's gonna end up being just a really short and easy ride. So the parking feels pretty early here at Yosemite, so our tip is to 1, arrive here early, and then 2, just find a parking spot and keep your car there all day, and then to get around, take either the shuttle or ride a bike. They do have bike rentals here in the park if you don't have a bike of your own, and during the summer they have this program where you can rent a bike for free for shorter trips up to 2 hours. It is unbelievably beautiful here. I mean, just look at this. How is this even a real place?
One of my favorite things was when we were up on the hike, you could look down into the valley and see these super green, lush meadows, and then you can see the river just gently flowing through. It's just like a dream here.
Magical. It's magical.
Oh, that is ice cold. Oh.
So they have a store here that's basically a grocery store. They have so many things in there, and I went in there to get Snickers ice cream bars, which is kind of like our unofficial treat after doing a big hike at a national park. But they didn't have any Snickers ice cream bars, but found something that's almost as good or maybe better. This gelato.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw chips and salsa, and that sounded good too, so I got that also.
They must have a Snickers ice cream bar shortage in California. They didn't have them at the Sequoia National Park either.
The entire hike, I just kept saying to myself, Snickers ice cream bar, Snickers ice cream bar. So next time I see one, I'm getting one, even if I have not hiked recently. Oh, look at that berry swirl.
It looks very good.
Oh, it looks very good. Good one. That was a very good joke.
Get in there.
Mmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is really good.
But is it very good?
It's very good. The berry jam swirl is so just fresh and the ice cream has a nice cheesy flavor to it.
We're now on our way out of the park back to our campsite, but along the way there's a couple iconic viewpoints we want to check out. That's one thing that's great about Yosemite is while the hikes are epic, there are tons of amazing views that do not require a lot of effort.
This behemoth right behind me is the famous El Capitan, a 3,000-foot tall vertical rock face that is world famous with rock climbers. If you haven't seen the movie Free Solo, it documents Alex Honnold's attempt to be the first to free solo climb this, which means he had no harness, no ropes. He only used his hands and his fingers to get up this bad boy, nothing attaching him to the wall. It is one of the wildest movies I've ever seen, and even though I knew he survived, I still had so much anxiety watching it, but I do highly recommend it.
I can see 2 climbers up there. This morning when it was dark, we could see their lights because they camp up there on the side of the wall. They just camp and sleep on the side of this massive cliff face. No, you gotta be some kind of crazy to do that. No way.
Yosemite National Park has 13 different campgrounds, which basically book up instantly, so we decided to just boondock instead. There are a handful of free camping areas near the park, and we've been staying at a spot just south of the park entrance, which is pretty convenient, although we will say, unless you're staying in Yosemite Valley itself, you should expect to have a decent drive to get into Yosemite Valley. Even though we're staying just minutes from the park entrance, we still had a little over an hour drive each way today. We woke up very bright and early this morning and drove about an hour onto Glacier Point Road to hike the very short Taft Point Trail for sunrise. This is pretty wild. If you look over this railing, it is a massive drop, thousands and thousands of feet. Woo! It's kind of scary to look down.
I'm having like a hard time just standing here, man. Oh, I don't like it. No.
Taft Point is a very popular sunset spot, but we have other sunset plans tonight and unfortunately just didn't have a free sunset to come here, but sunrise is still so beautiful. We're getting to watch the valley wake up for the day and just lighten up from the darkness, and we've had this beautiful pink sky, and quite possibly the best part is that there is no one else here, which feels like a completely rare experience in Yosemite.
We just hiked the incredible Sentinel Dome Trail from Taft Point, which we highly recommend. And now we're about to make it to Glacier Point, which is one of the most epic spots in the entire park with a head-on view of Half Dome. Half Dome rises 4,737 feet above the valley floor and is famous for its shape, with a sheer cliff on one side and 3 sides that are smooth and rounded, plus its infamous cables to climb to the top, and it is a sight to behold.
Since you can drive to Glacier Point, it can get pretty busy, but we still think it is totally worth checking out. I mean, just look at this crazy view. However, if you can, we highly suggest hiking to it. That way you can see more scenery along the way. You can hike to it on the 4-mile trail, which we did last time we were here, or from the Taft Point trailhead and follow the Sentinel Dome Trail like we just did this morning, which honestly had just as good of views of Half Dome with less people.
We plan to come back to Glacier Point for sunset, but in the meantime, we're gonna head about an hour south to Mariposa Grove to see some giant sequoias. Giant sequoias are the largest trees in the world by volume. And we just visited Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks in our last video, which is home to some of the largest of them all. But the Mariposa Grove here in Yosemite has over 500 mature giant sequoias as well.
This is an area of the park that we have never been to before, and our plan is to hike the Grizzly Giant Loop. But one very important thing to know about visiting the Mariposa Grove is that you cannot park at the trailhead. You have to park at the Welcome Center and then either walk 2 miles one way, bike 2 miles one way, or take the free shuttle to get the rest of the way. And we are doing the free shuttle because we are so exhausted right now. Our legs are like, give us a break, please.
Mariposa Grove is home to Grizzly Giant, the most famous giant sequoia in the park. It has a volume of 34,005 cubic feet, making it the 26th largest tree in the world. It's roughly 2 million pounds in weight, which is as heavy as 145 elephants on top of each other.
I just can't get over how thick some of these branches are. There is a branch up there that is thicker than most of the trees here in this grove, and I think this is purely just a coincidence, but on the front of the tree at the bottom, it kind of looks like a bear just clawed right through it.
Oh my God, there's a bear. Lee, any bears?
My heart stopped.
That's my favorite joke when we get into places in bear country.
He does that all the time, but my heart seriously stopped beating. We actually do think I think I saw a bear earlier today crossing the road, but I caught literally the tail end of it as it was about to go up into a hill into the trees. But it was kind of, it was black and it looked like, I don't know what else it could have been. So I think it was a bear, but by the time we slowed down and got by it, we couldn't see it anymore. So we're not counting it, but I was starting to believe there were barely any bears in this park.
Did I do a good acting job?
I still am struggling to breathe a little bit.
The whole drive over here, I was planning on doing that, and I was just hoping that I would do a good acting job.
Wow. I actually have been planning to do it too, but.
Really?
Yeah, I thought about it a few times.
We saw a bear from the bus, just barely.
Yes! I don't think I got him on camera because it happened so fast and this bus is packed, but it was a cinnamon black bear. Oh my gosh, it was a bear! That was so cool! After the excitement of our bear encounter, we headed back up to Glacier Point. And there's a reason that we came to this spot twice in one day. This view is easily one of our favorites in the entire park. And getting to watch the sun illuminate this striking rock and surrounding mountains with golden hues before turning to a pink alpenglow is quite possibly one of the most magical ways to end another beautiful day in this park. One very important thing to know about visiting Yosemite is that from April to October, you need a reservation to enter the park, minus the Hetch Hetchy area from 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. on specific days, depending on the month. We are exploring the park on weekdays in early June, and right now you only need a reservation on the weekends, so we're able to just come and go as we please, but we still recommend coming very, very early, even if reservations are not required, because this is a super busy park.
This morning we're back in the valley, and our plan today is to hike the Mist Trail, which was one of our favorite hikes from our last trip to Yosemite.
So the reason this is called the Mist Trail is because you get absolutely blasted with mist. That is cold.
desperately needed after 2 sweaty days of hiking. This is our shower.
Oh my god! We're in a cloud of mist!
It's so much fun, it just makes the trail even more of an adventure.
Absolutely. There is 0 inch of me that is not completely soaked right now. Definitely bring a pack cover if you don't want the stuff in your backpack to get wet. And a lot of people had rain jackets on to kind of help with the cold, but we just embraced it and it was amazing. That'll wake you up.
I am completely dripping. My nose, my chin, I am just soaked. Love it.
It's the first time in days we're not just dripping from sweat.
Yeah.
We're dripping from cold, refreshing water.
Now that you say that, I can taste the sunscreen and the bug spray dripping down my nose.
Yum. This trail is like a giant stairmaster. It is steep. An insane amount of water. It is just raging down this river and then plunging over the side. This is one of the best times to be here at Yosemite. In the spring, early summer, when the snow melt's all happening and the waterfalls are just exploding with water.
It's crazy, just 12 hours ago we were across the valley at Glacier Point watching sunset and we could see these waterfalls, and now we're sitting on top of them. There are a few places to eat in the park, but we really haven't heard that many good things about them. Plus, we have our own kitchen, so why wouldn't we cook? And you're never gonna guess while we're eating. Yeah, oh, you might have guessed it, tacos.
Oh, no. Off. Put your face. Do you want to go for a hike? So as you can probably imagine, the last few days here in the park have not been very exciting for Kona. Dogs are only allowed in campgrounds, on the road, and then on some paved trails here in the park, so there's really not much that they can do here. We've been trying to spread out our hikes more than we normally would, that way we have plenty of time during the day to hang out with her. But before we go on a short sunset hike tonight, we're gonna take her on a walk along a paved road to Mirror Lake. To end another amazing day here in Yosemite, we're doing a short hike up to Artist Point for sunset. This hike starts right across from Tunnel View, which is where we started this video, but we should be even higher up.
The view from up here is even better than Tunnel View. Like Catherine mentioned, you're a few hundred feet higher up and you just have a clear, unobstructed view right down home plate of the valley. And I don't know how we did it. This is the second time that we've gotten lucky where there is no one else here. To be honest, over the last couple of days, the crowds have been a bit much here, and we're here like midweek and it's still been crazy busy, so it's nice to be here in some solitude.
turns out we are not alone up here. There are lots of mosquitoes. Oh. After spending a few days in Yosemite Valley, we're spending our final day in the park along Tioga Road. This highway was first completed in 1915 and spans from Crane Flat all the way to Lee Vining in the eastern Sierra through Yosemite's high country. It reaches an elevation of 9,945 feet, making it the highest highway pass in California. And because of this, it is only open in the summer, with its opening date differing year to year. And we lucked out that it just opened up today for vehicles, so we're hitting the road and starting at Olmsted Point.
This viewpoint has amazing views of the Yosemite Valley, including Half Dome and a bunch of the other domes all around here, but from a completely different vantage point than we've had so far. And it's named after Frederick Law Olmsted, who is best known for designing New York City's Central Park, but he also played an important role at Yosemite as well by helping Yosemite Valley and Mariposa Grove become public land in the 1860s before their national park status.
Yosemite is home to 2,000 lakes, but the majority of them are pretty difficult to get to. Tenaya Lake is not only one of the easiest to access, but it is also the largest front country lake in the park. It's absolutely gorgeous with crystal clear waters surrounded by gray granite domes and deep green trees. And to experience it, we're taking out the kayak.
We are feeling so grateful to be out here. We got so lucky with the road opening today because this was our one day to be out here on our filming permit, and we got an absolutely perfect day. The temperature is spot on. There's a light breeze, and it is just so easy to paddle this thing. It's just so relaxing right now.
This area of the park is definitely a bit underrated. It gets a good amount of traffic, but it's nowhere near the madness of Yosemite Valley. And there's just so much to see and do out here. There are so many incredible hikes, other lakes you can hike to, overlooks. We highly recommend spending at least a full day out here.
Last time we were here, we only went as far as Tenaya Lake, so we're gonna continue down the road a bit further to see some all new scenery to us.
We are walking through Tuolumne Meadows, and this may be one of my new favorite areas of the park. It is just straight out of a postcard out here.
It is so lush here, and there's this beautiful stream running through with all these creeks running to it, and I saw tons of fish in there, so you know we're coming back.
The only downside is that this area is completely infested with mosquitoes, so it's gonna have to be a very, very quick stop. We are lathered in bug spray, and it's not enough. Nothing is helping.
gotta say it again. I am so happy they opened the road today. It is freaking gorgeous out here. Yosemite is one of our favorite national parks in the US, and we are so happy we were able to come back and explore more. There's a ton more we were wanting to share in this video, but as we mentioned, we couldn't film everything that we did. So to see everything we got up to in Yosemite, plus all of our tips for the park, head over to our website. We have a handful of guides to hopefully help you plan your own trip.
But we have some very special visitors, my parents, arriving from Texas in a couple hours, and we're going to spend the next couple days showing them the park for the first time. And then we are heading back to the Eastern Sierra to do some epic hikes, backpacking, and check out a bunch of cool spots. It is what we have been most excited for this entire summer in California, and we cannot wait.